Get your paws off me, you damn dirty apes! You get your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty apes!
Yes, a space explorer, a planet of primates running the show. All this can mean only one thing. We're watching Planet of the Apes. That was really lazy.
Whatever.
Yeah, there's a guy, there's a space, there's
The movie or the planet?
yeah. There's planets, there's apes, and
Planet of the Apes.
all that can mean is that we're watching Planet of the Apes 1968 and Planet of the Apes 2001 on this episode of Retro versus Remake. Well, you finally made a monkey
out of me.
For a musical, this feels like a very musical
Oh,
episode.
yes. Especially because the music is playing outside. Our apologies.
Yeah, there's not much I can do about that. I usually try to wait, but they're going to be going all night.
Yeah, it goes all night. For us, it's the summer at the time of taping, and woo! These party people go all night, son.
Yeah, they party.
Yes.
It's not
Party hard.
Not too far after the 4th, and like
Yes.
this neighborhood's been on like fire.
Yeah, fireworks galore. So if you hear gunshots, we're probably okay.
This is how the apes took over. Actually.
Yes,
When you
that's
think about
exactly
it,
how the apes took over.
we blew up too much shit.
Fucking damn dirty apes.
Well, I'm Reggie Parker,
I'm Dan Farley.
and this is another episode of Retro versus
Remake. Yeah.
This is a series where we compare original films and the remakes and say, should this remake exist? On this episode, we're watching Planet of the Apes,
Planet of the Apes.
1968, and Planet of the Apes 2001.
The Tim Burton classic.
Absolutely. I am going to...
Let's just...
Do I do the... Yeah, alright. I gotta read the shit first.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember the order of things. Here we go.
You did it! You maniacs!
Yeah, finally did it. Damn you.
You blew it all up!
Planet of the Apes, 1968. Directed by Franklin J. Snapner. Let's see. Starring Charlton Heston, Roddy McDowall, Kim Hunter, Maurice Evans, James Whitmore, James Daly, Linda Harrison, Lou Wagner, Woodrow Parfait, and Buck Cartalian. That's not a real
That's
name.
a fucking name.
I can't. That
Buck Cartalian.
Buck Cartalian.
That's my new fantasy football name. Buck Cartalian. And the
that.
Apes.
Keep that one. Screenplay by Michael Wilson, Rod
Serling.
Yep. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's it. And Planet of the Apes 2001, directed by Tim Burton, starring Mark Wahlberg, Tim Roth, Helena Bonham Carter, Michael Clark Duncan, Paul Giamatti, Estella Warren, and a name you may remember, Chris Christopherson.
Am I an illusion?
Am I an ape?
Am I an ape or are you all just apes?
Yeah. Let's see.
Fucking Chris Christopherson. Fucking Whistler. Whistler every fucking time. Shows up in every fucking movie we do. True Lies, somehow Chris Christopherson was in it. Showed up.
He just shows up.
What's going on? We fucking did the Payback one with Liam. He's fucking in that too. No! Fucking Chris Christopherson haunts my fucking dreams. Go ahead.
Spoilers, he's terrible in this.
I know. He's terrible in everything. And Charlton Heston's in this too.
The screenplay is by William Burroughs Jr., Lawrence Konar, and Mark Rosenthal.
And boy, did they... Glad those checks cleared for them. Jesus.
You're damn right. Both of these films are based off of La Planète des Singes, known in English as Planet of the Apes. It's a French novel written in 1963 by the author Pierre Boulay.
Oh, Boulay. Robert Boulay. This Boulay shit.
This is a bunch of bullshit. Dan, what's your first experience with these films?
Well, the first experience I had was watching Planet of the Apes. For the first time, when I did it was in my grandmother's bedroom.
Wow.
In her rent-controlled bedroom and apartment building in Chelsea, which might cost, I don't know, $650 to rent a two-bedroom in Chelsea today. And my uncle lives there. Have I thought about committing crimes to get that get that apartment? Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
But I remember watching that on a rain delay during a Yankees game, and Planet of the Apes was playing. I was hoping to see the A-Team. I got Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
And then I was pumped to see the remake of Planet of the Apes in the movie theater. I don't know if I've thrown more at a movie screen in my life, but I threw a plethora of garbage. I ripped up the seat and threw it. Like I was at a fucking soccer riot.
I guess we're gonna find out how you feel about the film.
Oh, I meant enjoy.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah,
like that's why I'm not allowed at Sundance anymore. I was like, Pulp Fiction! Ah! I'm so excited.
Facts, man.
What about yours?
Honestly, I think I watched the original Planet of the Apes mostly because of The Simpsons. You know?
Oh yeah, well The Simpsons, that's a given. Fucking Troy McClure, which by the way, was what I quoted before when they were like, "Hey, what do you think about the Planet of the Apes? The movie or the planet?"
Yeah,
neither. The multi-million-dollar Broadway musical.
Somehow, I think I did see the original first.
I did for sure.
For sure, I saw that first, and similar thing where it's like I like sought it out because like I knew of the reference, watched the film, and that was what it was.
Yeah.
2001. I mean, I was in high school in 2001.
I was too.
Well, yeah, it was pretty close to high school, and Tim Burton was that dude. Mark Wahlberg was doing all right at the time.
Yeah, this movie single-handedly almost ruined everyone's career involved.
Wow.
Everyone's.
You're right.
It really, like, Tim Burton was, like, Oscar nominated and shit like that, and everyone's like, oh my god, this is so avant-garde. And everyone was like, what the fuck was this movie?
Yeah. I think that given the 2022 lens, that can kind of fluctuate a bit, but
No, we're not making excuses on this podcast.
Fair.
No, fuck that movie.
Yeah.
We'll get into it. But Jesus Christ. And, P fucking you.
Yeah.
Oh.
We'll get into that, because
Planet of the Apes.
I don't think I saw it in theaters, but I saw it like, I don't know, HBO, some shit like that.
But since we don't really discuss these, because we're not going to really discuss, but the other ones, like Return to the Planet of the Apes, I think was a sequel.
We'll probably get around to it.
Okay, but I just because I remember watching them when I was younger and being freaked out. Like the ape costumes in the original Planet of the Apes and those other sequels, they freaked me the fuck out.
Yeah, they're fucking weird.
I was like, it made me just uneasy. Like I don't know what it was. Like it just made me really uncomfortable. And then like when you look back at like Beneath the Planet of the Apes, like the three like main apes have good makeup, and everyone else clearly has plastic masks on. They're like, yeah, whatever. Like it's like literally like those masks with like the rubber band on the back of it. They're like boing. Like, get the fuck out of here.
That's just gonna happen sometimes.
I know. It's like really that's really what was keeping this whole thing alive is the production budget, and you guys really just mailed it in.
Yeah, there's some choices that get made in the remake, which we're going to talk about, that make it difficult.
Oh yeah.
To
beneath the planet. Why are we beneath it? Doesn't make sense.
No.
I could say I don't have a lot to say in those movies because I didn't see them really. Like I got it. Like at the end of it, I'm like, okay, we got it.
At a certain point,
once you know the twist, the Planet of the Apes, it's like, yeah, okay, I don't.
Well, while like doing research for this, I realized even off the original 1968 film, there's like multiple films that come after that apparently expand and apparently aren't all terrible.
No, that's what I'm talking about. Those like Beneath the Planet, those. Apparently there's some stuff to it. I don't know. I think only Roddy McDowell's in all of them, though.
I think so.
I think he's in all.
Because Heston's not in.
In
the rest.
He's like the dad in American Pie who just keeps Eugene Levy, who's in all the American Pie shit. Because he's like, what else am I doing? All right, I'll do this.
Hey, it worked out for you, Jay.
Yeah, it sure did. Schitt's Creek, baby.
Hell yeah. Dude makes bang.
Yep.
But yeah, like the newest franchise, which we're not talking about today, but the newest franchise does a lot of that.
Yeah, but so much better.
Oh, yeah.
So much better.
Yeah.
Those are good movies. We should maybe we got to revisit
we'll
those.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll revisit these. Mm-hmm. So just to talk about those movies. It's like,
because unfortunately, the easiest 1-to-1 are these films.
Yeah. That's why we're doing them. Because that's an actual remake. There is no Planet of the Apes in the new franchise.
No.
Because you see it become the Planet of the Apes, so there's going to be no twists and turns.
Is the brilliant part of it is that like they rebooted in that way. So
yeah,
at some point we may actually watch some of the older Planet of the Apes films to talk about the new ones.
Yeah,
but you gotta talk about Charlton Heston first.
First of all, from my cold dead hands.
Cold dead hands.
You truly are the ape of the apes.
Well, that's how we fucking found out about these films.
Yeah.
Let's get a quick synopsis and then we can dive right into
Let's go.
Alright. Astronauts on a near light speed voyage. Near light speed voyage. Their journey gets sort of interrupted, we'll say, and they end up traveling potentially through time and space.
Fucking apes.
And they land on a planet.
Yes.
Planet
apes.
Of the apes. A planet where humans are, how would you put it, subservient?
Yes.
Slaves, sometimes animalistic.
Yeah.
And the apes are the highest point of society.
Yeah, they're the higher beings.
Yeah. Like right now you could see a gorilla or something like that in a zoo.
Yeah.
Well, in this world, a human would be in a zoo instead.
Yes.
And an ape would be your dad.
Yeah.
Throughout this journey, as the astronaut tries to discover what's happening, how the apes got to this position in society, culture, and life, the astronaut has to learn how to, 1, express himself amongst these apes, 2, liberate himself because he's been captured by them, and 3, find out how the hell he even got here.
Yeah.
I mean,
all with physique that could only be described as Coney Island strongman.
A Coney Island strongman.
It's like,
yes.
You really, and people are like, he was so muscular. Was he?
No.
He was just not fat.
That's
really all it was.
It's around when abs were invented.
Yeah. And not really.
It's true.
Like that loincloth was up to his chest.
What
So I couldn't tell.
What a mess. Oh yeah, in both films, like the female, I guess, lead that's not an ape, interchangeable, doesn't speak.
Yes.
It's a whole thing.
And also, and may I also say, in both movies, the male lead is, you're a fucking scientist. Get out of here.
Right.
Fuck out of here.
Neither one of them feel like a scientist.
Okay, you're an astronaut.
Yes.
Yeah, I go to space. Space fun, right? All right, though.
Yep. Astronaut scientist crash lands on a future, past, some type of planet where apes are in charge of society.
Large and in charge. If King Kong won.
The human has to convince the apes of his own humanity, and well, actually, humanity doesn't really mean anything to them.
Yes.
But he has to that he's a sentient being. There's trials and tribulations as he tries to prove that he has a soul or is more than just a savage.
And he could talk. He could talk. He could talk. He could sing.
I can sing. As he tries to do that,
Dr. Singers, Dr. Singers.
The apes have to deal with their own religion, science, and doctors.
I just want to say,
yes,
that out of either one of these movies, that's the best thing that came out of it. The Simpsons parody. That's the funniest. It's a musical, and I would go to see the theater show.
It's so good. So good. And it actually captures everything you need to know. Like, you really don't need more than that 2-minute clip on The Simpsons to know how these movies work.
No.
Yeah, which is why the synopsis is bullshit. Because, look, guy, he's an astronaut, lands on a planet where apes are in charge.
There's a blackout. He ends up getting separated from his group of astronauts.
Yep.
They're doing experiments on apes on the spaceship. End up on a planet run by apes. And they treat humans the way we treat apes in zoos.
This astronaut has to figure out where he is, when he is, and throughout all that, there are twists and turns, and he finds out, like, perhaps humans had more to do with this ape planet than he originally suspected. And each movie ends its respective way, some ways much smarter than the other. Alright, if we're going to get into Planet of the Apes, we might as well get into our lead actors.
Yeah. How you guys doing? You guys doing good?
In the 1968 film, Charlton Heston...
I'm a fucking star!
Charlton Heston plays George Taylor, who's
Taylor.
an astronaut from Fort Wayne, Indiana.
You maniacs! You blew it up! Oh, damn you! God damn you all to hell!
And
If that's not a grandfather name, I don't know what is. George Taylor.
George Taylor.
Listen here, I'm not getting a reverse mortgage. I'm George Taylor.
If I thought a reverse mortgage was going to ruin your life, I wouldn't tell you to do it.
I want to tell you, I'm George. I don't care for these people moving into the neighborhood.
The blacks?
You know what I'm saying? No.
Oh, the apes. Jeez.
Not them so much, I mind.
In the remake, Mark Wahlberg plays Captain Leo Davidson, an astronaut who actually enters a portal to another world inhabited by talking human apes.
You stay here, you're already dead.
What tribe are you from?
United States Air Force, I'm going back.
Do you know a Leo in real life? I don't.
I don't know a Leo.
I don't
You
think
know
I
a
do.
Leo?
And I'm not talking about astrological sign. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But I don't think I do. Oh,
So-
Leo Davidson. It just happens, like, this astronaut just happens to be, like, jacked. Which,
Yeah.
he's, like, ripped. And so much so that he's wearing, like, a tight shirt. Never takes it off throughout the whole movie. Which, by the way, I'm fine with him not taking off the
Sure.
shirt. But, like, why is he just ripped beyond belief?
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
He's a super smart guy.
He's a fucking star!
He's,
It's my big dick! I fuck when we say...
yes.
We fuck when I say we fuck. You're a fucking actor,
Boogie
man.
Nights.
Yes.
Boogie Nights.
Yes.
So Charlton Heston, right? He is Charlton Heston.
Yes.
Like,
He's Charlton Heston in every movie.
in the spaceship, he's smoking a cigar. Like,
Yes.
that's all you need to know.
Which, yeah, you're like, immediately when I saw that, I was like, wouldn't you all blow up immediately? Like, you know, oxygen? I don't know.
Who needs it in space?
I don't know. Wasn't that the whole problem in the Challenger? Never mind.
His character is more disillusioned
Character. Go ahead.
with humanity. Well, he
Yeah, I
he
guess.
thinks humans kind of suck.
Yeah.
And
Which is, talk about burying the lead. Which, okay, let's just get to the point.
Sure.
Like, the spoiler alert, so we can just talk about it openly. The spoiler alert of the original Planet of the Apes is that it turns out he escapes and
Right.
he's like, oh my god, I'm going to kiss you.
Oh,
and like,
yes.
wait, and so he kisses the ape and they leave. Him and the girl bleed. I don't remember her name. Does she even have a name? I don't think it doesn't matter.
she does.
It's so, both of them are so poorly written.
That's Linda Harrison. She
Yeah.
plays Nova.
Nova. Okay. Nova. No fucking name. That's her name. So they go on the beach and they find the Statue of Liberty up to its armpit and like, damn you! And he realizes that it's been Earth the entire time and now they're drastically in the future. Which, great ending.
So-
Great.
I do love that you led with the ending.
Yeah, but we gotta talk, it's so good.
You're right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're right, because we do have to discuss that when we're talking about these two characters.
Yeah, especially because in the book, like if you read the book,
Right,
the book it's a planet.
Right.
It's not. There's no twist.
So 2001 is more like the book.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, in the book, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
In the book, before we even talk about Planet of the Apes, there's these two different aliens on like a space ship, almost like
Yeah.
a pirate ship. There's like sails and shit, you know, who find a message in a bottle in space
in space.
about a Planet of the Apes, and then once they start reading this message, it basically picks up where Planet of the Apes,
Yes.
the '68 film, comes in. And you're right. So, in the 1968 film, Charlton Heston has to go through all of this stuff,
Yes.
and ultimately, what he realizes that he's in a futuristic. It doesn't feel like it, but he's in a futuristic Earth,
Yes.
where the apes have taken over.
Yes.
Which is completely different than the 2001 film in which Mark Wahlberg, who... So I mean, two things that we should key in before we like really dive in.
Yeah.
Is that Charlton Heston is traveling with a crew of other like men, like astronauts, humans, dudes. It's George Taylor, his boy Landon in Dodge, who I assume is a black guy.
1968, maybe.
Yeah, he was black.
Yeah.
In 2001, like Mark Wahlberg is the human, and he's hanging out with Pericles.
Yeah.
Who's an ape.
Who's an ape? Pericles.
And like Mark Wahlberg's one job is his commanding officer is like, hey dude, don't fly out to try to solve this little space anomaly.
Yeah.
Send the monkey. Send the monkey. Because in this universe, monkeys are expendable. You can experiment on them and things like that. So like, I think in 2001 they're trying to make this like...
That's also in our... I mean, they sent a ship to space before they sent humans.
Sure.
So, I mean, it's not like...
I mean, it makes sense. And, you know, like, you can get into ethical questions about that, but like, I think most people would agree that if you had to send someone to space, you'd rather send a monkey than a human.
Yeah.
On the first go.
Yes. But it's so interesting when you watch the original Planet of the Apes, because it plays, and it's so appropriate that it's written by Rod Serling.
Right.
Because he came up with that ending for it, and how appropriate it is that he wrote it, because the end of it is such like a Twilight Zone episode.
Right. It really is.
That people are so disillusioned with, especially post-war America,
right?
That especially the veterans who fought in it, they're like, "What the hell were we? What was that for?" And it actually is like a big callback to like what Hemingway wrote about, like the Lost Generation, which was very much commented on, like all the people that fought in World War I. Once World War II happened, everyone talked about them being the greatest generation, and everyone from World War I was like, what are you talking about? Like, we didn't do our job. Like we fought in a world war, and it was hell. It was torture. It was terrible, and whatever. And then that ending
set the groundwork for how World War II would be fought.
Yes, exactly.
You know,
and changed the game completely. And then the Great War, and then World War II happened, and now it's that feeling of disillusionment. You're left with that same feeling at the end of this. You're like, shit, like what was all that for?
Right.
Nothing. You're stuck there. Like you can't really do anything about it. What are you going to kill all the apes and repopulate the earth? Like you kind of and even he says very keenly, is like, you blew it all up.
Right.
They destroyed it. So we destroyed it.
That's a great point. That when you talk about that feeling of almost like the nihilistic point of like, what is the point of it all?
Yes.
That fits really well. Like when you watch how this film is shot, like the first 25 to almost 30 minutes of the film is very slow, isolated.
Yes.
Like you don't see an ape. You don't see anything like that.
Yeah.
For 30 minutes into the film.
Yeah, and also there's so many chunks of this movie that would never fly today. Like not in the sense of like PC or anything. Like you would never be able, and that's what the 70s really changed a bit. Became, although they did it a lot too, but like in the 80s they really came by that there are scenes where they're just walking.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah.
That it's taking it's a very
Conan-esque.
slow. Yeah, like Conan. Like it's almost like Lord of the Rings where they do that, but that's like an epic and stuff. This is condensed. It's like a 2 hour something long movie.
I think that stuff works though because
it does, yeah.
Because that sense of where are you, you're stuck. Like you're not going anywhere, and in that they have to try to explore and find things.
Yeah, and if you don't know, the movie's called Planet of the Apes. It's like the beginning of it sets it up that it's like a survival story. Like it's almost as if, like, if you were watching Castaway,
right,
and you're on this island, you're like, oh, and then halfway through, there's a cannibal tribe.
Right.
Like, oh, what the fuck?
Right.
Where'd this come from? It's almost like that, but you're not, for us, like, watching it now, you already know the title of the movie, so you're like, get to the fucking apes.
Yeah.
But not that, that's a bad thing.
No,
I don't mean it like that way. I know
what you mean. Like
I love the patience of the movie, to be honest with you.
Yeah. The pacing is very good, and those early scenes and shots are really nice because they use all these like really cool landscape shots.
Yeah.
Things are like far out, and when they're walking through like the desert and stuff like that, when they first find like just plant life, that's a big deal.
Yes.
Because like if there's life, then there'll be more life and more life. Charlton Heston delivering some crazy gravelly line. Yes. And that's a big deal. Like they feel, and maybe they shouldn't, but they feel like much more capable, scientific, and like explorers in the first film because of all this isolation. Like they have to try to survive, and by having to survive for a set amount of time, maybe more time than we really need, but because they set that framework, it gives them a lot of credibility.
Yes.
Like George Taylor has credibility because you can see that he can survive in a landscape where most people can't.
But also, it's written by, I don't know the other guy's background who wrote the screenplay with him, but Rod Serling was a veteran.
Right.
Like, you know, he fought. So you'd have these campaigns where you travel through, you know, endless desert or some kind of tough terrain to get through. And then when you got to find whatever civilization, that might not be good.
Right.
And you found it. You're like, oh shit, I gotta fucking wait. And he goes in like, oh, thank God. And they're apes.
Yep.
You know? So it's very, meanwhile, in the 2001 version, it's like you or I, like, yeah, he's exploring, right? He's walking around, just, I don't know, like, I don't know anything about it, like, going through, other than my life, but, like, some kid writing, especially me in, like, 2001 writing, like, oh, and so he lands on this, he doesn't know where he is, and he walks around, it's very, much sloppier and much more impatient.
It is sloppy, like, 2001, basically, we just dive right into him being sort of captured.
Yeah.
Right? We don't see Pericles, his ape companion. In the original film, Landon, Dodge, they're all hanging out with George and trying to figure it out before basically they find like a water source and like all their clothes get stolen. That creates a whole thing. But 2001, he's immediately captured by the apes.
Immediately, yeah.
I mean, like as fast as you can be captured by the apes, and they use the throwback line. I believe it's Michael Clark Duncan.
Yeah.
Says, "Get your
hand off me,
you damn
you dirty human."
Human, right? So it's like even the big line is delivered at a point where like you didn't earn that yet.
Yeah.
Right? Like things in the original film feel earned because they sit in this sort of pace.
Yeah.
That, to your point, maybe you can't do as much anymore outside like an indie film, but like I thought that it actually helped frame up a lot of things because again, this credibility word, like I think those scientists, even though it's Charlton Heston smoking a cigar in a spaceship, feels more like a man of science and intellect.
Yeah, because it's written by someone with more intellect. Correct. Yeah, it's clearly more. It's like, oh, because you had a spaceship, like that's more believable. It's,
right. I think by the remake trying to put different themes out, just more ham-fisted, like...
Oh, yeah, it's much more spoon-fed.
Completely spoon-fed.
Yeah.
Like, Pericles is someone that, he's an ape, he's a chimpanzee or something like that, and Mark Wahlberg respects him, but like, while they're doing other ape experiments, Mark Wahlberg doesn't agree with it, but it doesn't make him smart, it just makes him empathetic.
Yeah, he's empathetic. He treats him like you would a dog.
Right.
Like, it's not like...
He's like my good buddy.
Yeah, it's like my good friend. Like, I don't... But at the end of the day, like, I'm going to make the decision here.
Of course.
Like, I'm not going to leave it up to my dog to say, when do we pay the heating bill?
Right. Which actually hurts him, too, in the context of these films, which is the apes think humans are, in both films, they think that humans are really subhuman. They think that they're like savage beasts. In the original, actually, like you were mentioning, because of the way the film ends, that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like, these guys are monsters.
The humans are the villains.
Yeah.
In the remake, humans are the villains, and like Mark Wahlberg, even though he's like maybe less villainous, he still falls in that category because he doesn't think Pericles is an equal.
No, at all.
He may think he's his friend, but
he's cool with him.
Right.
But he's no he's no cooler with Pericles than Helena Bonham Carter is with him.
Right.
You know, it's not like she's actually better to him than he is to the ape.
I agree.
So, like right there, you're like, I don't.
Which unlike the original film, undermines him because the apes actually have a legitimate gripe with him.
Yeah.
Like, he and his crew experimented and tested on monkeys.
Yes.
Which, again, going through all the sequence, we'll get around to this, but like, led to the sequence, like the planet that he's on in some ways. But because of his animosity, not his, but like his crew, their animosity towards apes, it gives all the monkeys or chimpanzees, apes, whatever, in the remake, a legitimate gripe against him that really isn't there for Charlton Heston.
No, it's not. Like Charlton Heston, like
he's done nothing.
He hasn't done anything to deserve it. So it makes him more sympathetic from the rip.
Right.
And the fact that he's disillusioned with human beings in it, it's like, okay, he knows what the problem is. So then they tag him. He's like, no, get your fucking paws off.
Right.
Like,
right. Because like Charlton Heston also hates humans.
Yeah, he's like, I get it.
For different reasons.
But at the same time, he's like, no, don't touch me.
Right.
Like,
right.
But Mark, they don't earn that with in the remake at all.
And Charlton has a lot of moral high ground, right? Like when the apes capture him and parade him around, and they try to fucking snip his fucking junk off. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot happening. In this film, and when he shows him that he's sentient, it makes them look like animals. Right?
Exactly.
In the remake, even if something like that happens,
he comes out swinging too.
Right.
Like, he's like fighting. So if I rolled in to your neighborhood and just started shooting shit, like, you're gonna be like, what's this guy doing?
Right.
Like, you're gonna call the cops. In this case, ape cops, which I smell sitcom for us. Ape cops.
Tuesdays on CBS.
Reggie Parker, Dan Farley, ape cops. Anyway,
get that so perfect.
Yeah, I know. Like, I'm retiring. Reggie's the new guy.
These apes. They never do their own paperwork.
It's fucking ape police.
But like Charlton Heston, who like his character, if you just listen to him, sounds like, I know like species is like the whole time he doesn't fuck with monkeys.
No, he doesn't. No.
But he still feels like more of a monkey ally than someone who fucks with monkeys.
Yeah.
How did that happen? How did 2001 like miss that mark so much that Mark Wahlberg does not feel like...
What I think is even better, though, is that it's disproving its own point. You know, because it's like trying to see, like, how we could be together as humanity to bonding. And it's like, no, you don't just, like, from what we're saying, like, they did not think of that. Of like, oh, he's not his equal at all.
Right.
And it's clear in that writing because it was like, no, he's his friend. No, stupid. He's not his friend.
Right.
He would. Everyone's telling him, like, no, send him out to die.
What's that stupid monkey into space?
Shoot the stupid monkey out. Who cares?
Yeah. Which, by the way, I guess he should have.
Yeah, he really should have.
Turns out, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
But yeah, like that difference, and I'm still trying to figure out, from a writing perspective, like how 2001 allowed Charlton Heston to come across as so much more of an intellect in a movie where most of the time he spent being upset about apes.
Yeah.
And saying like, if apes were humanoid beings, things that are kind of derogatory about them, but like he comes across as more intellectual than Mark Wahlberg's character. Can we talk about a major problem with the remake?
Sure.
The original film,
A.
humans can't talk.
Yes, they cannot talk.
That's a very important point.
Yes, a very...
Humans
Yes.
can't talk. Charlton Heston can't talk because he gets a throat injury when he lands. So like when he finally speaks, it's a big deal because the monkeys...
It's a huge deal.
Right.
Because now it's the equivalent of a dog talking to you. Like, what? The dog
Right.
is saying, I'm not taking a bath.
Right.
All right? You're like, whoa. okay, maybe you shouldn't take a bath. That's a huge difference, as opposed to putting a voice box on them so they can't talk.
Mm-hmm. In the remake, humans can talk.
Yeah.
And they talk well. They talk
Eloquently.
They talk as eloquently as the apes do.
Yeah.
And yet the apes have decided that that doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
So, from an ethics standpoint, again, going back to ethics, Mark Wahlberg doesn't come across as ethical. The apes don't come across as ethical.
Yes.
Because they have enslaved people that speak like them.
Exactly. So it's all the whole thing for the. It's just obviously just a metaphor for slavery.
Sure.
And racism, basically.
Yeah, but like.
But in the ironically enough, in the more racist time.
Yes.
It is not.
Right.
It is not like that at all.
Right.
It's a comment on humanity's deserving to be the top dog.
What is man? Right? Like you have a planet of apes.
Yeah.
The planet of the apes where the apes can speak. They have shared language, they have culture, religion, science, and they may not seemingly, understand humanity.
Yeah.
And the humans think that, Charlton Heston included, thinks that he's higher than them. But it turns out, as we'll get into, like, when you talk about the ending, it turns out that the apes aren't necessarily less intelligent in some ways.
Not at all.
They're...
Maybe well-read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, some of them are hiding a secret so that they don't end up like humans.
Yeah.
The secret isn't just because, like, oh, fuck you, I don't believe in science.
Yeah.
The secret is, oh, no, we know.
We know what it is. Yeah.
We know what's going on.
We know what nukes are.
And we don't need that.
Yeah, we don't need that, because that's a whole Pandora's box of problems, which we saw what happened to the other one. What makes us think that we're not susceptible to that?
Right. Versus the remake, which, like you're saying, is more about, like, I guess, slavery.
It's like equality. Let's say that.
Sure, equality.
Yeah, equality.
Like, does a creature, a human, animal, whatever, if an animal rises to the point where they appear sentient to us, and for us, in both films, for any of the creatures, that's a common language, the ability to reason, things like that. Like, if you're hurting, killing, capturing something like that, ethically, what does that mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not crazy.
It's not,
like
68,
like you're saying, which honestly, some of the things you hear sound like it's not about race, but like some of the things Charlton Heston says does not sound palatable.
No, absolutely not.
These days and age, but because the movie isn't about slavery per se, it's about what is man.
Yeah,
that's it's
about humanity.
Bigger question than why do apes, humans, anyone,
or the destructive nature of human beings,
right?
And is it a singularity in human beings, or if you gave that power to say apes, would that translate the same way? And in their case, it does, because that's why they're holding back.
Right, but like in the original though, like that transformative power, as you're saying, like that is being suppressed.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Those in the know.
That's what I know. That's what I mean.
Right. So sorry, I didn't mean.
No, but I that's what I'm saying is that they have the same. They believe that they have the same power to do that within themselves, to destroy themselves. That's why they hold them back.
Yes, yeah. Okay,
they're like a drunk at a bar who left his keys at home, so he won't drive home because he
knows that he
knows he will.
I agree. And in the remake, because of the way
everyone's got keys,
everyone has keys, and like it's not about what we can do. Like when we find out that there are apes that kind of know about the past as well, their whole thing is that there is power that can't be controlled. It's not really a moral thing. It's kind of like if we had access to these weapons, we could take over.
Yes.
But really all that's happening is because humans have access to these technology and power, we're going to pretend like they don't, so we can stay in charge. That's not the same thing.
Not the same thing at all.
That's like oh shit, humans are kind of gully, man. I don't want
Yeah.
any smoke. Let's.
No,
it is kind of like slavery. Don't let them learn how to read,
don't let
so
them
they
learn.
can't like overpower us. You know what I mean? It is a slave
It is a
allegory
slavery,
that way.
yeah.
But like, you're right. The 1968 film didn't have a slave allegory. It was an allegory about
It was about humanity.
humanity,
Yeah.
which I think is a bigger.
It's much more interesting.
I agree, because like you don't need a slave allegory from Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, and also like okay, maybe you like, and I'm not to say that a slave allegory can't be interesting.
Oh, it can be.
But this is not.
No,
this is not interesting.
I did get that, I get why
not.
you went to clarify there, because
Yes.
I knew what you were saying.
Yeah.
But yes,
This one is not interesting.
an allegory about subjugating humans
Yeah.
is not inherently disinteresting.
No.
But when you make it a
But
monkey
this
planet,
one is
yeah, and
quite distant.
yeah, and like going back to like the book a little bit, like the book involves a lot of men trying to show the apes that they are also sentient. So it's not a slave allegory.
No, at all.
And that it really is that central question, which is the most interesting thing about either of these films. What is a human? And how do we quantify that?
Yes, and and the power of to the power of technology, really.
Mhm, yeah.
And really the best gift that humans ever have, aside it's communication.
Right.
You know, like that's no human could beat a buffalo,
Right.
or a bear. But 10 working together
Sure,
can.
sure.
And that's the difference between the humans in this movie, in the original and the remake, is that they can't talk. He can.
Right,
And
right.
all of a sudden, that's a huge difference.
Right. And because of this
Communication.
communication, this element of what is humanity, ape, man, whatever the hell you want to call it.
It's bananas.
It is Bananas. Charlton Heston is a threat to their way of life
Yes.
in a way that Mark Wahlberg isn't. Like Mark Wahlberg is scary because humans might arm themselves and rise up.
Which, spoiler alert, they do.
Yeah. The original is scary because if man thinks like us, does what we do, we cannot continue
Yes.
to subjugate them.
Yes, correct.
But also, we're subjugating them because of the secret that we don't all know, because of what humans are capable of.
Yeah. And as are we.
Right. So that we do not become man.
Yeah. And man won't become us.
Correct. Far, like we said, and
that's-
that was far more interesting.
Yeah, it's far more deep and
Mm-hmm.
far more interesting because that's something you can relate to instead of like, well, they fucking don't deserve to, but like maybe they do. I mean,
No.
maybe they
In
do
this-
deserve to be subjugated.
Because you mentioned the big sort of twist ending, Charlton Heston's reaction, that damn you all to hell.
He's not talking about the apes.
No,
Yeah.
humans did this. Like,
Yeah.
the apes are running the show because the humans
We fucked it up.
deferred. Exactly. They fucked it up. So at this point, they deserve their fate because of what they did to the planet.
Yeah.
Somewhat. You know what I mean? Like, does anyone deserve to be subjugated? I don't know. We'll see. Who cares? But, like, because they had it all. Like, it's like, I don't know, you won the genetic lottery.
Yeah.
You had everything and you fucked it up. Like
Yeah.
you mentioned. That is the problem. And when Charlton Heston realizes that this wasn't about the apes being the assholes and subjugating him, and like it puts things in the context when Landon, the character is he's lobotomized basically in the
Yeah.
film, and that's fucked. But in the context of the last time humans were in charge, the planet basically got nuked.
Yeah.
Maybe I think that humans would make a similar
Yeah.
decision. Like if we were running the show and like apes had like somehow discovered nuclear technology and blown up half the planet, and we were like, whoa,
Well,
that's
yeah.
never gonna happen again.
Yeah, if dolphins did that shit,
Right.
I'd be like, no, we're not.
Yeah.
Well, like, yeah, all right, we're fucking having every SeaWorld
Mm-hmm.
will now be fully operational, and like that's now their jail.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. But I think we would make that call.
Yeah, absolutely.
As a society, I think we'd make that
It's
call.
not even a question. You would, like, no, we can't. If not, we would just give AK-47s to bears just to see what'll happen.
Sure.
Like, let's just see.
But yeah, no, I mean,
It's much more interesting.
yeah, as we're talking about, that is so interesting to have, like, because there are moments in our own lives today, but like you mentioned dolphins, like, we all know dolphins are kind of fucking smart.
Yeah.
But we treat them
So
like...
they say.
Yeah, well, that's
I
what
don't.
they say.
People are like, well, I haven't seen them do anything.
Yeah.
That's that fucking amazing. Jumping through hoops, but
Dolphins,
I digress. And rape a lot.
octopi, dogs,
Yeah.
like pigs. There's all these creatures that have like a certain level of intelligence.
Yeah.
That we all relate as intelligence. But yet we still have that switch where like, that's an animal, this is a human. And we value humans more than, in general, in society. Some people are kind of...
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But think of it that way. That's how whenever someone says that, like, oh, apes and, or not, like dolphins and, oh, it's such a smart, but it's like, is it? Because if you think of, like, I could think of some of the dumbest people I know.
Sure.
And if that guy was a dog, you'd be like, that is the smartest dog I've
Right.
ever seen in my life. But
Right.
it's not like I respect his opinion.
Right.
I'm like, all right, man. Go back to DeVry.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so that's like one of those. It's like, yeah. Coming this fall, we'll be discussing these problems on Ape Cops.
No, ape cops.
Ape Cops.
So just to get into more of the film, let's see. Writing down, Dr. Cornelius. Yep. So I want to bring in like several characters
Okay.
all at once right here. In the original film, we have Roddy McDowall,
Yep.
who plays Dr. Cornelius.
Beware the beast man, for he is the devil's pawn. Alone among God's primates, he kills for sport, or lust, or greed.
Dr. Zayas, Dr. Zayas. Dr. Zayas, Dr. Zayas. Oh, Dr. Zayas.
We have Paul Giamatti as Limbo, who's kind of like a, he's an orangutan who basically runs a human slave trade.
Yes.
Get him out and get him clean!
In the original film, speaking of Dr. Zayas, you've got Maurice Evans, who plays Dr. Zayas.
Tribunal has placed you in my custody for final disposition. Do you realize what that means? No. Emasculation to begin with. Then experimental surgery on the speech centers, on the brain.
Okay.
His closest equivalent in the remake would be Tim Roth,
Yeah, Tim Roth.
who plays General Thade, who's like a...
Who, by the way, is giving everything.
Everything.
Declare martial law. We underestimate this human.
everything.
This is a far cry from shot in the belly, Larry. They fucking shot me.
No, he laid it out, dude.
Yeah, he really did. Like, the way he walks, like everything. He's like, wow.
Yeah.
He's really trying his fucking best, and it's quite impressive, to be honest with you. If it's like, man, I wish you could do this in a better movie.
Right, right.
Yeah, and that's one thing I will say about this compared to like the remake, the remake versus the. This is not to take away whatever I'm saying about the remake. The makeup in the remake and the special effects are phenomenal.
Yeah.
They're amazing. Like, he looks like an ape. Thade.
Yeah,
It's phenomenal.
Thade's really good. We're gonna come back to this.
Go back to that.
I'm gonna give you two more characters in wrap.
Yeah.
Kim Hunter in the original film plays Dr. Zira,
Yeah.
and her equivalent would be
Helena Bonham Carter.
Helena Bonham Carter as Ari, who's a feisty but benevolent chimpanzee. She's basically Princess Leia because she's a senator's daughter.
Correct.
She's Princess Leia.
Yeah, she's Princess Leia.
You were talking about
Lepa.
you're talking about Tim Roth as Thade and his commitment
Great.
to the story. And in a lot of ways, what's great about the original is Charlton Heston's commitment
Yeah.
to this story.
Yes.
Right? Like, in both films, you have actors who are laying it all out. I think you made a great point about, in the remake, costume design. It's great.
Out of control good.
Action, great.
Great.
Universe building, like the way the apes are dressed, what they do,
And kind of like
their
their class
government.
system.
Yeah,
They have like a class system of like, you know, the orangutans and like all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The gorillas.
The slave trade and stuff like that, going back to the slave allegory.
Yeah.
But
Stinks.
right.
It fucking stinks.
Because all that universe building isn't backed up by the writing.
Nothing at all. The story is ludicrous. And you're like, fine, you know what? And it would be okay. I guess if you want to get to the ending of the new one, of the remake now.
Well,
We could wait.
we'll wait a little bit
Okay.
because I'll say this: the original, there's just less happening.
Yeah, you can tell it's not. It might be high budget at the time, but there's not much of a set. Like,
Well, I'll give this to the original. The scenes that they do shoot, because
Yeah.
you're right, there's not a big set, but like they pick some really scenic locations and it's
Yeah.
shot really well.
oh, it's shot very well.
The remake feels more like kind of sound stagey.
Yes, it's much more sound. It looks kind of like if you shot all the scenes in like Tatooine and Star Wars.
I was about to say
Yeah.
it feels like when the fucking the end when the little dudes, little Muppets fucking
Yeah,
take
Jawas?
Yeah. It feels a lot like when the Jawas capture like Chewbacca and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like that's what
Oh, the Ewoks?
Yeah, the Ewoks, thank you. The Ewoks when you're on their planet in Return of the Jedi, that's what this shit looks like
Yeah.
for a lot of it.
Yeah, it does.
It's weirdly similar.
Yeah, and then the in the remake of like just the random things like when they're like not by God, whatever they say, like
Oh, yeah,
by-
yeah. Simo or
by
whatever.
Simo, like shut up, like why would you develop the same manners?
Yeah.
It's so forced. It's just makes me sick.
It's like the remake has the ability to show you all these different layers, like you said.
Yeah.
There's a clear caste system.
And it
there's
blinks.
a Senate, the military, and all that stuff. And you're right, it does blink because ultimately that doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter at all.
Like, the Senate doesn't come into play.
Not at all.
Like, there should be a scene, and there's not, but there should be a scene when Thade, played by Tim Roth, says that, like, hey, look, we tried it your way to, like, the government, right?
Yeah.
We gotta do this military shit because they got your daughter. And,
Yeah.
like, they allude to it, but they don't really commit.
Not
Like,
really, yeah.
Like, Jar Jar Binks has more of a
Exactly.
scene like that, which is ridiculous. I'm mad I even said that. But, like, in the original, Charlton Heston is a threat to their entire existence
Yes.
and way of being.
And also, like, your whole outlook on your purpose in the universe. Like,
Correct.
It's like questioning, like, what?
Right.
Like, we're not the only sentient beings. Like, okay, like, I was reading something, like, it was talking about, this is kind of off topic, but it's not really.
Sure.
About human beings, like, that the way we have to picture aliens, like, when you hear a story, like, aliens are always, like, some creature, because we would not be able to accept the fact that an alien would look like a human. Granted, the only reason why I think most humans would not accept that is because they would think they were lying.
True.
Like, you're not a fucking alien. You're from Hohokus.
There's a funny scene in the cartoon series Invader Zim where Alien shows up and he's like in his original form and then he quickly changes and he looks like a pair of sneakers.
Yeah.
Right? And the guy's like, you wouldn't be able to understand my form. He's like, but I just saw you.
I just saw it. Yeah. So, like, if you have this human that could all of a sudden could speak and is sentient and has thoughts and feelings and has all this scientific knowledge,
Sure.
why couldn't that thing have a quote-unquote soul? And if he has a soul, do they have a soul? And
Right.
it questions your whole
But-
place in the...
But see, you get to ask that question in the original.
Correct.
Because
You don't.
humans can't talk.
Yeah.
I know it sounds really simple, but it is far more complex. Human inability to speak
It's huge.
allows the apes to treat them however the fuck they want, just like we do to anything else on this planet.
Yes.
Right? Like, pigs, from what we understand, are kind of smart.
Yeah.
But, fuck it, bacon wins the day.
Yeah.
Because they don't fucking talk. If a pig started going all babe on you,
It's like, yo, don't go in that chute.
yeah.
What?
But because the humans can't talk, The apes are allowed to say that man is a savage beast, untamable, and ape rules or has dominion over man.
Yes.
In the remake, man can talk.
There's no difference.
Reason.
It's like, what do we...
Like,
It's like, yeah, they fucked up, but it's like, okay, my cousin, like, you could have, like, a cousin that fucks up constantly.
Sure.
He's still at Christmas. Like,
Right.
like, okay, oh, you can't, like, no, they have to be a member of society. They eat shit.
right.
They're obviously volatile. Like,
It's a second-class citizen, and because, like you mentioned, this slave allegory, the apes are just wrong.
exactly.
They're just
and
wrong.
But also, like, so the one thing that it makes perfect sense in the original and not in the second one.
Sure.
It's like your feeble mind could never understand this.
Right.
Like, okay, in the original, maybe they can't because
Makes
they don't
sense.
know because they can't communicate with the ape to say, I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
But meanwhile, in the other one, they'd be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. So 2 and 2 makes 4.
Right.
And so it's like, oh.
Right. There's a scene where Tim Ross...
It doesn't work.
There's a scene in the remake where Tim Ross' character, like, he, like, trips Mark Wahlberg up and then he, like, opens
His mouth.
He's like,
There's a soul in there.
and it's like, yeah, bro.
Yeah.
There is.
Hey, stupid. Yeah.
Like, even Charlton Heston's George Taylor being injured in the neck and you not hearing him speak since he's met the alien, or the apes, or whatever.
Apes.
When he throws out that line, get your stinking paws off
Yeah.
me.
That's an act of defiance. No one's been defiant.
And it's
Ever.
a payoff.
Yeah.
It's one of the most popular lines or quoted lines in film history.
For a reason.
It was a huge payoff.
Yeah, it's a huge payoff.
He wasn't speaking, now he speaks, and now the apes know that he speaks.
Exactly. And
Which means that humans can speak.
And that changes
If that
the
hu-
whole dynamic.
If that human can speak, can the other human speak?
Yeah.
What are we going to do now? Like,
Yeah.
you're right. It would be like if your dog was like, yo, man, let me
I
go
don't want any fucking kibble.
Right.
Like, you're like, what?
You got to start treating that motherfucker
Yeah,
different.
now I have to be like, okay, so what do you want?
Yeah.
Like, that's the next question.
Motherfucker needs a seat at the
Yeah.
table. You know?
Exactly. Can you get a job?
Perhaps.
Yeah. And then we're gonna be millionaires because this dog could talk.
Now, we mentioned him a bit, but like Tim Roth's General Thade is, like we mentioned, the equivalent to Dr. Zaius. Now, Dr. Zaius, as a character, is both in charge of sort of their religious equivalent
Yes.
and their science. So the Ministry of Science and basically religion are the same thing.
Yes.
There's a conflict of interest. The science cannot outpace the religion.
Okay, but so is he kind of, because he was the ape that showed them the way. He's the direct descendant of him.
That's fair.
So he kind of is too. Yeah, he's in charge of the military, but he's also like a bloodline that's very important to
Now,
apes.
I agree with that, but he doesn't...
It's not quite a religious, but it's definitely like a worship.
You're right, but because of his lack of knowledge, General Thade, of... Yes, he knows he's in that bloodline, but he's not aware of the origin of man. He has to learn that from his father in the film, who I have no fucking clue who that is.
It's Charlton Heston.
Oh, yeah, shit. Charlton Heston.
Charlton Heston.
I'm a dick. Yeah, Charlton Heston plays his father.
Yeah.
Shit.
In a swift turn.
But like Dr. Zaius, who is clearly played as a villain throughout the film, but by the end actually gets a bit of a turn because of why he's keeping the secret.
Yeah, and he gets a turn because of the reaction that he's getting from what we just said. Like, you're all of a sudden this thing that you thought your whole life isn't true.
Right.
So, oh shit.
Right. Like that reality that this thing, human, whatever you want to call it,
Come to terms with it too.
its existence means that everything you believe
Is wrong.
Completely.
If it's not, and if everything you believe that you're so afraid of these people, that's why you're keeping all this technology underground and you're not talking about it, and these nuclear secrets. It's the reason now your greatest fears are coming to life because this guy can talk.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh shit.
Right.
Like, we're in trouble.
The thing
like, and how you come to terms with your own fear.
Right. The thing that you've been keeping as a personal secret for the betterment of ape kind.
Yeah. Ape kind.
Now that's being confronted, and this human, which you already don't like humans because you know what they're capable of, this human is now threatening your way of life.
Yes.
And it puts into perspective a lot of the way that Zayas interacts with him throughout the film, because if you just watch it before that, Dr. Zayas is kind of a dick. He's out there lobotomizing people, and he's like stopping the doctors from doing their research.
Yeah.
But when you realize his motivation, it's like, okay.
Oh, yeah. It's like, we're not getting any further than this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
One way or another.
Which is kind of fair, man.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And like General Thade, I don't know, like he comes across as someone who's hungry for power, who's kind of like warmongering and stuff like that, which isn't as impactful in my head as Zayas, who has that sort of science and religion behind.
Yeah, he's doing it because, and it comes down to the same thing. Like, it's, Thade is doing it because he feels that he's superior. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I'll be damned if these fucking human beings act up. And like, how dare you not respect me because of my bloodline and shit. But then with Dr. Zayas, it's like, no. We're gonna die if we don't do it like this, okay? We can't let these things happen.
That's why...
And I will do everything I can to make sure they don't get past this point. Because
that's why there's a forbidden zone.
Yeah.
There are forbidden secrets.
Yeah.
It's like the Garden of Eden. Like, don't eat the fucking apple, bro. I'm trying to tell you.
I'm telling you, don't do it.
I'm telling you about the apple. But,
I had one rule.
But going back to Thade, like you were saying about that feeling of superiority, he feels that amongst the apes, too.
Yeah, of course.
Right? Like,
and this is his way to prove it, and that he'll be damned if a human being talks to him.
There's a scene where Michael Clark Duncan is talking about him because he's going to go to the Senate.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah.
Thade's going to go to the Senate, and Michael Clark Duncan is talking about the Senate, and he's like, they're weak without you, sir.
Yeah.
Again, feels too much like Star Wars, like, you know.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
An attempt at Star Wars.
It really feels like that sometimes.
Yes.
But like, Thade knows more than the political eggheads, the scientific eggheads. Like, he's a man of action. So, like, he should be in charge. And again, that does come down to superior bloodline, which is superior whether it be human or ape. Like, I'm just better.
Yeah.
And that frames the way that he interacts with people, lives his life and stuff like that. But again, not as compelling as his Zayas.
No, absolutely not. Not even, because it's a depth into his own ape anatomy. I don't know, whatever. It's all that. It's so much deeper. The whole thing is just so much deeper than this piece of shit that from 2001. See, this is what we discussed prior to 9/11, everybody. This is what happened when those buildings hit. These questions. Thank God America is perfectly fine now.
Sure.
And that everything is fixed as far as race and gender and sex, everything. It's all fine now. But before 9/11, it was chaos. It was a chaotic time.
Making points.
Did this come out in the summer? I think it did. I'm almost positive it did. I feel like I still remember that stupid poster with like the ape with the helmet on and like.
Yeah, July 2000.
2001?
July 27th.
Yeah, I remember seeing it because I saw this in the movies. And I don't think I was in school, so
yeah.
I was in high school, but not when it came out.
Right before, yeah. Shit.
Yeah.
Wow, what a
fucking
weird cultural.
That's what happened. This movie is the only movie so happy that 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
So they could be like, thank God we're not the worst thing that happened this year.
Yeah. Yeah, there were some head scratcher moments for this film.
Oh,
that we'll certainly get into.
Do we want to get into now? I mean, we could do it right now if you want, or we could go.
Well, I want to bring in another character before we shit on the rest of this film because it deserves it.
I'm giving it an equal chance. Unlike those apes and humans did.
You finally. In the original film, Kim Hunter plays Dr. Zero.
Yeah.
That Bright Eyes is remarkable. He keeps trying to form words.
And in the remake, Helena Bonham Carter plays Ari, who, like I mentioned, is this chimpanzee.
It's disgusting the way we treat humans.
So, Kim Hunter, being a scientist, right? She's a scientist. Dr. Zaius is a scientist. Taylor is a scientist. Like, these are all intellectuals. And no, the apes don't believe humans are intellectuals.
No.
Because of her pursuit of the truth.
Yes.
It allows her to look at the humans more like
Correct.
an equal.
As equal.
Dr. Zaius, for reasons we find out later, refuses to do so.
Yeah.
And like on surface level, it looks like, well, this guy's an asshole. Like, look, they got all this proof and they're going to solve this problem. But Zaius, as we find out, knows that man is violent, capable of extreme destruction.
Self-destruction.
Yes. And like says things like, unlike ape, like a man will kill his own brother for resources, land, things that like, I guess these particular types of apes wouldn't do.
Yes.
The remake, Ari is kind of like an animal rights activist.
Yes, an animal right, exactly. That's I was going to say the head of the. I was just thinking of the
like
the
Peters.
the WWF.
Yeah,
you know, like it's the Humane Society, literally the
Yeah.
Humane Society.
She really is that like obnoxious, like my daddy's a senator.
Yeah,
I care about this. This is my pet project.
yeah.
Like,
and they make fun of her in the movie. She's like, no, like,
right.
like okay, but she is basically like she doesn't. She's doing maybe her heart's
like
in the right
Hillary
place,
Clinton's
but
kid.
Yeah, it's like her heart's in the right place, but it's also not. It's not really deep. You know?
No, it's like super surface level.
Yeah,
like bullshit. You know what I mean?
It's stupid.
Yeah,
yeah. There's like you said, it's like it's the pursuit of knowledge and what she's like. Oh, and the fact that she helps them out is because her world changes because she realizes like these are not like beasts. It's not like it's like no, that's like literally like I said, if a dog like all of a sudden you're like, well, okay, this kind of changed the game. Like it's like and the dog's like, listen, I don't want to live in this house anymore.
Right.
And me and you own this dog together, and I'm like, listen, I know that dog's gonna run out and it's gonna kill him, and we can't let him out. And you're like, he fucking wants to go out.
Yeah.
All right. That's like what it is. Like he
Right.
wants to go, and then you let him out.
Well, like
you help him escape.
Sure, but like Kim Hunter being a like dog scientist in this analogy, right? Like it matters more because like I've been studying dogs for 20 years, and all of a sudden I've talking dog.
It's like what the fuck? Yeah.
Some Scooby Doo shit. It's crazy. Helena Bonham Carter.
We shouldn't treat it like that. That's mean.
Right.
Yeah. It's like okay.
But like the other thing that's unsettling about it, and it's not like a major deal, but like it weakens the character. Helena Bonham Carter is also in love
Yeah.
with Mark Wahlberg.
Yes.
I don't know why they're creating this tension. Like in the original film, when Kim Hunter and Charlton Heston, they have like a moment where they kiss, and it's kind of
and she's like okay.
Yeah, she's like,
Fine.
but you're so damn
Damn
ugly.
ugly.
Right? Like that's a great line and moment.
Yeah.
Because
she does it to appease him. She
Right.
doesn't do it because she's like
she doesn't
"Fuck."
want to.
She's not like and
Right.
like, ready to go.
Right.
Yeah.
That never truly is an element. Like she has a scientific curiosity.
Yeah.
About him. Helena Bonham Carter had like kind of wants to fuck Mark.
Whatever. I fuck apes. That's what I do.
You know what I mean? That's what I do. Dude.
It's my big dick. I want to fuck an ape.
I
I want to fuck an ape.
Ape. I want to fuck me, bro.
I want to fuck. It's time to fuck. Everybody, let's get ready to fuck right now.
It's just. It just sucks.
It sucks. The whole movie just sucks. It just sucks.
It's like what?
Okay, can we take this? Can we please talk about the ending now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, so the ending, they have a human uprising, of course, because Mark Wahlberg leads them with a gun, a laser gun, and they have the uprising, and in the middle of the climactic battle, both sides going at it, who shows up?
Oh, Pericles.
Pericles in the spaceship.
Who's also Semos.
Semos. He's also
one.
yes. Is he, or was that a different ape?
They believe that Pericles was the reincarnation
Of Semos.
Of Semos, who's
Their
basically
god.
their god.
Or their Jesus. And then it's so goofy and undercut
Can we
and
talk
level.
about...
Oh, when
in the Forbidden Zone, it's called Kali Ma, but it like they wipe dust off, so it says caution live animals. Ugh.
Yuck.
Ugh.
Yuck.
Terrible.
Awful. The whole thing is awful. And meanwhile, they're the animals. Oh, it's so stupid. And when that fucking they opened the visor and the monkey was flying. The ape was flying the spaceship. I just audibly yelled out, "Boo!" in the theater.
Yeah.
I was like, I just wasted $11.50. Oh my god.
Inflation, that was a lot of money.
Yes, that was a lot of money. And I was just, what the fuck is going on? And then everyone's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then he's friends with Mark Wahlberg, so everything's okay. Helena Bottom Carly's been trying to fuck him the whole movie. No one gave a shit.
Right.
But now, because you're God, quote.
But they don't even explore that.
No, at all. And they would clearly know that he's not nearly as intelligent as any of these apes on the planet.
Sure.
So they'd be like, oh shit, now my religion is bullshit.
Right. But like, in that moment, because they all bow down to who they assume is Semos, right?
Yes.
Like, Mark Wahlberg's inability in this scene to like use the fact that he's
like,
friends
what's going
with their
on?
guy.
What's going on?
It's like, yeah, we're holding hands, buddy, and we're gonna go like,
Like he's Michael Jackson at the Music Video Awards.
Because ape and man speak the same language.
Yes.
And that's not surprising at this point.
No.
There should have been a moment there where like, this is my boy, bro.
Yeah.
Like, we're like friends. You see this? And like, they could have done like
Ape
some
and man,
stupid,
boom, like the fucking Bloods and Crips, like the fucking hands.
Some weird like monkey high five, like that would have been kind of sick. And we're like, yo man, everything you guys are doing, this is bullshit.
Yeah, this is all bullshit. Me and Simos, we out. We could go to the movies, bro. Yeah. And then our planet needs us.
What's confusing is that Tim Roth's character continues to be upset.
Yes.
And to try to kill Mark Wahlberg's Leo the entire time. And like he gets back, like Leo gets backed up by like Ari and at one point Michael Clark Duncan, but it's like, if Jesus just rolled up in the middle of like a battle, I think the battle's over.
Yeah, okay, yeah, maybe.
Probably.
I don't know.
If the dude you, like, if you were like, fuck these, like,
yeah, probably
people, right? Like, whatever their background is. And then your version of Jesus rolls up, grabs one of their hands, and is like,
yeah, I guess so.
Like, you'd be like, yo, I'm fucking up.
Yeah, I was like, all right, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
We got to figure out what's happening. Like, you would think you would reset and be like, yo, our savior is kind of like friends with our enemy.
Yeah, if he just like dapped up Kim Jong-il.
Yeah.
It was just like, yo. And
yeah,
like dapped
Jesus,
it up.
Like,
yeah, just like dapped up. And they were like, yeah. And then you're like, oh shit.
I think you'd have to like take a step back.
Yeah, you'd be like, maybe we're on the wrong side of this.
Right.
Like,
right. Even if it was like not the wrong side, you'd be like, all right, let me figure out what I got wrong about this guy.
Yeah, like, okay, what am I? And they don't explore that at all.
No, they immediately like.
Then Mark Wahlberg leaves.
Right.
And goes back to Earth, which.
Oh my God.
So he rolls up, crash lands in front of the Lincoln Memorial, and the Lincoln Memorial is an older, giant statue of Thade.
Right.
And he is Abraham Lincoln.
He is Abraham Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln.
Myself.
And all these cops show up who are apes with guns ready to kill him. He's like, oh, dun dun dun, sequel.
Now,
the worst piece of shit I've ever
That's
seen
a bad
in a
movie.
movie. That was one of the worst things. I don't know if I've left a movie theater more angry.
That was a bad
That was up there.
Like, there's...
What? Okay, let me...
Sure.
what? Were they on Earth? That it got destroyed, and they rebuilt with the apes, and they came back? Was it a completely different planet?
Apparently in the remake, it's not Earth, right? It's like the original book.
Yes.
It's a different planet.
A different planet completely.
Now...
But then they had the same idea of Abraham Lincoln's memorial?
Yeah, like, did... They'd have, like, a Gettysburg Address.
Yes. And then was there, like...
But even that doesn't make sense, though, because, like, I guess it depends. When did they land?
Yeah.
Right? Like, did he go from where Mark Wahlberg was?
Well, he had to, like, without Mark Wahlberg there, he took over. He was sitting in the corner brooding, thinking about it. And
sure.
So then they ended up losing, and then he went through a time portal, got back to the... That's definitely the same planet.
I get that.
And then he... Oh, this movie fucking sucks. And then he becomes the savior of this union, which is what are apes.
Sure, but like you mentioned, there's just so many problems with it.
It's like... And it's so stupid, like the reveal. I'm like, oh god, it's so stupid.
It's pretty bad.
It's so stupid.
Like, it's a head scratcher. People that even wanted to give this movie a shot were like, could not understand.
Who wrote this?
Yeah, why?
Why would you write that? That's terrible.
What does it mean?
At that point, just rip off the other ending.
Yeah,
just do the same exact shit.
I think that in their attempt to do a twist, they completely just like missed the mark. They like they fell off the wrong side of this thing. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
It doesn't matter. And that's the difference between the remake and the original. In the original film, things matter. Right? And like simple things. Like it's a classic movie for a reason. Because there's all these moments that make you ask questions that actually make sense, right? Like if man can't speak and apes are running the show, that matters, right? Like that the humans can't speak. The fact that one human can speak and that threatens the entire ape existence, that matters. Mm-hmm. And then ultimately the ending, which is one of the few times where changing the ending of a book actually makes something better. This is it. Like, this is the one time where, like, he was on Earth the whole time. So the whole time he's sitting here, you monkeys, you don't understand. Hey, man, we can fly. We can, we can do advanced mathematics. And then it turns out, no. This isn't a past or some faraway planet. This is your future.
Yeah.
We finally really did it. You maniacs! You blew it up! Oh, damn you! God damn you all to hell!
This is what you...
Like, I literally, I didn't think about this at all, but while you're sitting here, while you were talking, I was just thinking, like, if the ending to it was he went to the future after that battle, humans won, took over, and immediately destroyed the planet with nukes, that would be a better ending, because, like, oh, maybe they were right.
Yeah.
Maybe, what the fuck did I just do?
Like, if he landed in a wasteland.
In a wasteland, and there's, like, a couple, like, apes left and going, like, and told them they destroyed everything.
Right.
Humans, and they were, like, petrified of him, and, like...
Like, if the apes...
And he was like, oh, what the fuck did I do here?
Well,
oh, no.
Well, like, yeah, that cyclical thing, right, where if, like, the apes saw him in the ship of prophecy.
Yeah.
Right? And they're like, holy shit, the last time a human landed.
Yeah.
This happened.
This is what happened.
That would be far more interesting.
Yeah, it would be far better.
But
like, he's a fucking...
The Lincoln Monument is...
yeah, the Lincoln Memorial is General Fade. And they had the same exact ideas and architects and everything. They have fucking different thumbs, man. Like,
It's a bad take.
Oh, it's really bad.
It's a bad take.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just sending a text while we were.
That's fine.
Yeah, I didn't mean to. But
Just to get a spot.
yes, but that's exactly what
I figured it was.
So,
Yeah.
it's the worst ending I've ever seen to a movie, which is so upsetting because the other ending is so good. It's such a good, like, it's almost like what could possibly be, like what we were talking about, these things, like, I just wish they had the power that the remake had.
Right.
And then it would be everything would be perfect.
The original film is, first, it's a good film, right?
Yeah.
But it's also, in a lot of ways, is really limited.
Yeah, completely
There's not
limited.
much to it.
No.
In its simplicity is where it
It's
actually
beautiful.
succeeds.
Because it dials into the whole idea of a soul and humanity and blah, 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 blah. Whereas this is like, no, we're better.
Right.
Isn't this an allegory for our lives?
Right.
Is it, right? Do you not get it? Do you not get it?
Here's, again, it's
spoon-fed shit.
It is spoon-fed. Here's other simple things that the original does that the remake struggles with. George Taylor or whatever, his crew
George Taylor
is there.
Yeah.
So like other humans are experiencing this planet. Even though we don't see it throughout the film, other than like the original, like the first couple minutes, even though we don't see it, he is a sentient human on a planet where humans can't talk. His boys are also on this planet who are having different levels of success.
Yeah.
To what he's trying to do. He's trying to convince the apes that he's a man, that he should be treated with respect and like not like an animal. What did that get his boy? Half his brain chopped up.
Yeah.
Guy can't even talk anymore. That's a powerful scene.
Doesn't believe in himself. Can't even fly.
You know? And
yeah.
I guess in the book, when they try to do that,
I didn't read the book, in fairness. I just know of the book.
Sure. I didn't read the book either, but apparently when they get to the planet, the apes don't speak the same language as them. So like they try to like learn and teach themselves, like basically have a conversation with the apes in their language.
So it's much more like kind of like Battlefield Earth.
Sure.
Like that. Like
it's a more meticulous.
There's a barrier, but it's a language barrier, not in non-communicating.
Right.
Like they're both, you can't communicate either way, but it's not like, oh, you lack the ability to.
Right. And over time they learn how to do it.
I like the not being able to
speak.
Yeah, I like that better.
I think that does work really well. Yeah, I just think that like that little thing where humans can't speak.
Well, that's the most important part of human evolution. It's like the only reason why we succeed ever at anything is because our ability to communicate.
Right.
From everything, from start to finish. It's the only thing that genuinely separates us from animals.
But it makes you ask the question because of our inability to communicate with other things.
Yeah.
Right? So there's
like our love?
Like our love. Yeah, 100%.
But
But there's like arguments that you can make where you're like, again, I keep going back to it a little bit, but like the whales, the dolphins, the pigs, like I don't understand why like a crow can use like simple tools.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't get it. So it's very easy for me to compartmentalize that.
Stupid.
And just ignore it.
Fucking crows.
Things like stupid fucking bird.
Crows.
Fucking bird. Who cares? A whale.
The
like
crow.
Whales less so.
Brandon Lee.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like that is so compelling because
yes.
you now are relating to the apes.
Yes. Based on you're relating to the apes and your mind is blown. Like you could put yourself in these shoes.
Mm-hmm.
You can't put yourself in either of these shoes, to be honest with you.
No, you really can't.
You can't. Like you telling me you relate to Mark Wahlberg? No, you don't.
No,
like,
Mark Wahlberg is just
he's
just like
a shithead.
Yeah.
Like he's not really like a good person. He just wants to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
He's not doing this to the betterment.
And that's the difference, right? Like Charlton Heston does want to escape, but he also wants to he's trying to learn about the planet when he first land. He's like picking up flora and fauna, and he's like, he's an inquisitive scientific mind.
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg's like, fuck this, dude. This is crazy, dude. Like the whole time, he's just trying to get out,
bro.
no matter
Get
what.
out of here. And even if Charlton Heston is, the twist is that he can't because he's home.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the twist. So it's like even if you were, now you're gonna have to figure this out.
Right. That and again, that very simple layer of storytelling, which is, I want to leave.
Yes.
This is not my place.
Yes.
I don't belong here.
And this time, and the opposite, Mark Wahlberg's going to jail. This time, not for a hate crime.
Sure. That was Vietnamese.
Yeah.
He doesn't like him. But yeah. The other thing too is like, Mark Wahlberg, is he the best person for your allegory about? Yeah,
No.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Fucking, I would have taken, if we just did this like a Space Jam type story, like with just, they recruited Michael Jordan, and then he played them in a basketball game, apes versus humans.
Right.
Why not?
But see, like, that is, in a way, right? Because that does happen in Space Jam, sort of, like, the aliens have to respect humans.
It's the same plot.
Because Michael Jordan,
it's the same
It is
plot.
the exact same plot.
It's the same plot, it's just with Michael Jordan.
Right, because the aliens take on human-like characteristics by taking on...
it's like, I love them all. And also, you relate the same way to both.
Right.
I don't relate, like, as much as I enjoy Bugs Bunny, I don't relate to him, like, on a personal level. Like, we're going to be put into slavery. It's the same thing.
No, I really never identify with Bugs Bunny.
Listen, I'm coming up with this right now. I think I'm making a fucking good case here. Space Jam is the same story.
No, it is. It is, because the aliens have taken on human-like qualities, and they feel their own superiority because of their mastery of the sports.
And it takes one fucking superstar.
Yep, it takes one human to show them.
And by the way, I'm saying this as the Space Jam and 2001 Tim Burton, not the original. The original is not the same.
Sure.
Because...
But no, I get that. And even, like, the scene in Space Jam where, like, Michael Jordan's trying to dunk and he's chained down. Like, that is the feeling.
Yes.
Man, in that moment. Like,
and so Simos in this case, Bill Murray.
Wow.
Shows up. Dun, 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 dun. Oh my God.
Shit, you're right.
I know.
Simos is Bill Murray.
Bill Murray. And then, I guess his girl, the worthless...
Lola Bunny?
Yeah. Well, she would be... Yeah, I guess she would be the...
I guess she'd be...
she'd be the...
Kim Hunter or
whatever.
Elena.
Yeah. And then... Yeah. It really is.
Yeah, it's like she's not doing much, but she's critical to the plot.
And Thane would be Danny DeVito.
Yeah, no, true. Thane would be Danny DeVito. Wow, shit.
Yes. Michael Clark Duncan. You could put him in as any one of the Monstars.
He really could.
He really is.
I put him in the Patrick Ewing slot. I think.
Yeah.
I think. Wow. Shit.
I know. See.
Holy
I'm
shit.
fucking blown.
Planet of the Apes 2001 and Space Jam
Jam
are the same film, but Space Jam's better.
And Space Jam is way better.
Far deeper.
Far deeper.
Yeah, I think that, like you were saying, the costume design,
and more believable, by the way. There you go.
Space Jam is more believable. Like the costume design, the commitment, all that stuff feels good in 2001. It's the writing.
Yes,
the writing is a problem.
It's garbage.
Like
you could almost accept the whole thing. You would excuse a lot of this movie.
Sure.
A lot of it, if the twist was good. The twist is all of it, and it's so bad. But it's laughably bad.
Yeah.
It's you like as soon as it shows his stupid face when they open the visor, like oh great, like every long distance commercial you used to see. It's like it's a monkey using a phone. Oh my God, it's hilarious. There's not. That's like I don't think I've left the movie that mad. Until maybe The Last Jedi.
Sure.
That's and subverting expectations is one thing. Right. That is this is terrible.
I think that in a movie where you get to see a society's savior, and it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't at all.
That is a problem.
It doesn't. Yeah.
That is a problem.
If anything, Mark Wahlberg did more damage being there than he did not being there.
Sure. I just think that the movie insisted on moving to the next phase without considering what that meant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the movie was like, okay, Simos is here. We got to put him into the spaceship, but we also need General Thade to still be angry.
Yes.
I think that scene would have fit better if, like, he had to do it more subtly. Like, maybe a small group. Just like earlier in the film, someone points out to him that, like, Mark Wahlberg's spaceship.
Yeah.
And those two people was like, you did the right thing. I'm glad you told me. And he kills him in secret. Something like that would make sense here. Like, him on the battlefield in front of everybody who just bowed down to Simos. Him trying to kill Mark Wahlberg in that moment after Simos is like friends with him.
They'd be like,
doesn't make any
no.
sense.
They'd be like, we're not following this guy.
Right.
He's crazy.
Right. And like by the end of the film, they kind of do that. Like, right? Like Michael Clark Duncan is told to like help General Thade. And he's like, no.
And keep in mind though, by the time that happened in the movie, I was already gone.
No, you should have been checked out.
I was like, okay, we done here? Like it's, oh God. I had such high expectations for this movie too.
Even Helena Bonham
Not good, thank you.
Yeah. Even Helena Bonham Carter, when she goes like, and again, the scene doesn't make any sense. When she goes to Thade and she's like, okay, I'll hook up with you, like it's fine.
I'll marry you.
And then he brands her with the human, like it doesn't matter. Like I think the biggest problem with the remake is the apes are villains just to be villains.
Yeah.
In the original film, the apes' villainry is completely justified.
Yeah, completely.
Completely justified. Even Dr. Zaius, who like, I'm sitting back and I'm like, I don't love Dr. Zaius for most of the film, and by the end, the last couple minutes, I'm like, you know, he's making some points.
Yeah.
Would I still do it that way? No.
No, I wouldn't, but I get why someone would.
Correct. And like even when he's telling Kim Hunter and like there's another character named Julius or whatever, and he's like, yeah, no, I'm gonna try you two for heresy. And they're like, but we proved the truth. And he's like, the truth doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's a huge storyline. They're like, I know the truth.
Yeah.
I know the truth the whole time.
It doesn't matter. You're rocking the boat.
You're fucking with society.
Yeah.
And that is a real question. Like, is there a certain level of society? Like, let's say, for instance, aliens exist, right? Like, you go back to, like, Roswell, right? Let's say it wasn't a weather balloon, it was the aliens. But people couldn't handle that.
Yeah.
Is it okay for, like, 20 guys to say, look, the world's not ready for this?
Yeah.
I don't really have the answer to that, but it's an interesting question.
Yeah. Are you ready for the truth? But you wouldn't be able to handle that.
No, I think most people couldn't. In this
chaos
society, said the same thing. It was like, if people knew that humans were the same, that they were in charge of us. Like, could you imagine, like, as humans, if someone was like, hey, look, I know we gave you the Bible, right? But it turns out lions were like God. And they're like, this whole time you were kind of treating them shitty. Turns out they were God. And it was like, most people couldn't handle that.
No, absolutely not.
So, like, if there were, like, again, 20 to 25 people were like, all right.
If your whole life was bullshit, like, especially, like, if you were a priest.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Why did I just dedicate my life to?
Decades, years of, like, living a certain existence.
Here's a question I was thinking about this movie. It has nothing really to do with the movie.
Sure.
But if you went to, let's say, a Planet of the Apes, would you rather be in the ape zoo or the ape circus?
Ape zoo.
Ape zoo?
Ape zoo.
Okay, I think I'm going to go to the circus.
It's
more work. But
it is more
I
work.
get to see the planet, you know?
That's fair.
I'm a performer.
That's fair.
I get to do things. I'll bite a head off a chicken. It doesn't matter.
That's fair. I think, like, the ape zoo, you're right. You would get to see more. You'd be a little more active. But I think, like, my senses would be dulled a
and
little
plus
bit.
they throw someone in there. Let's make them breathe.
Yeah.
Come on, honey. Let's give them a show.
Ape zoo, it's not a great existence, but it's like, it's chill.
Yeah, it's chill.
But like,
I am a home after COVID too, man. It's like, being home's not that bad.
Yeah. These are the real questions. This is what the original does well. They make you ask questions.
You think.
Like this.
Yeah.
The remake never made me think.
Never did. So I guess this would come down to it.
I'll say this.
Okay.
Let's talk about like the costume design. I think the original, yes, it's dated and stuff like that, but I think it's actually pretty competent.
Yeah, it's competent. Yeah,
you know.
But what the other does is that they go to a point that is perfect, that without computer generated stuff.
Yeah.
Where a movie like say Cats went way too
Cats
far.
went, like-
way too far.
Cats went crazy.
It's like, and they had to go to like, you could tell like Tim Roth mimicked apes.
Right.
But he wasn't walking like an ape.
It was
know,
incredible that Tim Roth was able to do that.
Yes. The way he walked, like with his shoulders down, like.
Yeah.
But he was also like an evolved ape. He was walking. Like
But
he
see-
wasn't.
But see, like, and maybe it's because I know these people. I don't know them, but like acting wise, right? Like Helena Bonham Carter didn't really give me much, right?
No.
Paul Giamatti was just Paul Giamatti, right? Like,
oh no.
Mark Wahlberg was just Mark Wahlberg.
Hey, though.
Like Tim
Just
Roth
be thick.
is the best
By far.
actor in the film.
And by the way, he's such a one-dimensional.
Yes.
Or even two-dimensional. He's just a two-dimensional villain. And he does so much with that. That he's like chewing up the seed, like feeling it, and it's like, yeah, he's giving it his all, and it's God bless him. Even like Michael Clark Duncan, who I love, Michael Clark Duncan. He was like, like he was whatever. He was like, oh, I'm the big guy, like for Zemos, and okay, whatever,
right,
forgettable.
The original film, Charlton Heston, who hammering it up, but he's so committed, and so strong in the role, and everybody else. Like, I know, going back to the costume design, right? I'm looking at these goofy rubber suits, right? But, like, I'm buying these people as apes.
Yeah.
Everyone is, like, giving this earnest portrayal that, like, they feel, like, linked into the universe that's been built. The remake, I think, like, I'm seeing different actors in these costumes. And, like, I just think the original just makes a world for you to dive into.
Yeah, absolutely.
The remake,
and I just wish that they had the access though to the makeup special effects.
Oh, I agree.
The remake
I agree.
had.
I think
because nobody looked bad.
No,
like, they looked. That was the only saving grace of the movie is that it looked phenomenal.
I don't know the apes in the leather jackets being a little gang. I thought that was whack.
Yeah,
but also it like everything looked fine. Like everything looked.
The apes wearing jackets at the end. Like, why are you wearing jackets? You have fur.
Right.
This doesn't make sense.
They're ape cops.
Ape cops. This fall. This fall, coming to NBC.
Son of a bitch! I'm
coming to
Hulu again. Yeah, but no, I think that
Ape cops.
I think the original just lives in a universe that's more compelling.
Yeah, and it's much more dreary. It's a much more dreary. It seems more real, and that's the metaphor that you're like, oh, that's much deeper instead of slavery.
Yeah,
okay, all right, got it. Like it not.
But even in that, if it was about slavery, right?
It's also just on surface slavery. It's not even like it's like
because even if it was about slavery, right? Like you would think that Paul Giamatti, whose character is a literal slaver.
Yeah.
You would think that there'd be like a comeuppance or something like that. Nope. He gets like a redemption arc.
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
And also like maybe the slave and if the slave's also a dick.
Right.
Let's do like okay.
That's true. Like Chris Christopherson.
Yeah. No.
He was awful in this. We're 0 for 2 for Chris Christopherson. Yeah. So I guess what we're saying is that the original 1968 film has some flaws. But it's because it's a dated film. But like the shots that they shoot look really good.
Yeah.
The pacing early on could move a little bit faster.
Yeah, I guess. But I genuinely I
think it works.
I think it works. I like it too because it, like I said, if you didn't know it was a movie about a Planet of the Apes, you would think it's a survival movie.
Correct.
Which is like okay because it's set up for that. But the fact that it's called Planet of the Apes is a different story.
But even ultimately, it is a survival film.
Yeah,
right?
it is, but not the same kind.
Correct,
you know what I mean?
Right. Not like I need to figure out this planet, but like, how do I get off this planet?
Yeah.
The twist is so strong, like
it's one of the best twists in a movie ever.
And it's one of those times where editing a book or the source material actually makes it stronger. Like
and make an improvement.
If it's just a random planet, who cares?
Yeah,
right?
who cares?
It's Earth, and we did this.
We did this. We fucked it up, and it adds a whole new element to everyone's game.
Correct. And over time, because of the strength of that ending, it's like when you go back and you watch the Planet of the Apes, like the different remakes and multiple films, they're referencing this ending.
Yes.
Like they built an entire universe
to
show how we got this.
They were like, oh, the Mark Wahlberg thing never happened.
Right, we just retconned that.
No.
And for that reason, because the remake was literally taken out of canon because it's so bad.
Yes.
The remake should not exist.
Absolutely not. Not even. This is not even a question. And if you watch this movie, and anyone, feel free to email me if you could defend this movie. I'll literally spend more hours shitting on this movie if I could. But
Sure.
It's awful, unwatchable.
Yeah, I think for me, right, it's not as bad as it was like panned when it came out, but it's really bad and doesn't really deserve much of our attention. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel bad because I think the art design, some of like the set pieces and stuff like that, I think some of that's really well done. But honestly, the film spends so much time in these one-on-one scenes that don't look that good.
No, they don't.
You know, like when you
Planet of the Boo.
Right, like when you look at like The Hobbit, right, like the way they do those set design, you feel like you're in this universe.
Yeah, this one you feel like you're in a room.
Yeah, like a room with a sound
with a great makeup artist.
Yeah, it's a problem, and like Helena Bonham Carter's makeup is actually pretty bad.
Yeah, it is. It's a little bit, but I think they're trying to make her an attractive ape.
I know, but like,
and I'm like, why?
Because they gave her this weird romantic
sexual role.
interest.
Yeah, so that you're like accept it more. But
that should
she has fucking bangs, bro.
That should be gone.
She has that shouldn't be there. The whole movie shouldn't happen.
That's true. That's true.
Oh,
the whole movie
God.
shouldn't happen.
And like I said, they were the only people that were like, whoa, 9/11.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
like-
true. That's true. So at some point we may go back and revisit some of.
I would love to, as long as we don't talk about the remake.
Mm-hmm.
If we talk about the Rise of the Planet of the Apes,
No,
Dawn
I
of the
agree,
Planet
I
of the
agree.
Apes, that stuff,
What
I'm fine with that because I would love to talk about those.
What we may have to do, and like we're going to lose Charlton Heston on this, but we may have to watch one of the films that correlates to the newer films.
Oh, so like the Beneath the Planet of the Apes or whatever.
Like something like that. Beneath the Planet of the Apes, and exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, I'm fine with
that. Look, the 68 film is such a classic, and in a lot of ways, it is sort of a bare bones affair.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's a stripped down film that wins because of their commitment to the pace.
Yeah.
The writing and the ending. Like the way that they do the twist ending, in the way that Charlton Heston commits to this planet where humans can't talk. The remake just like they talk, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Oh, fucking sucks.
It's bad.
It sucks.
So that was that. You know, if
Yeah.
like Dan said, if you have a different opinion,
Email
go
us,
fuck
whatever.
yourself. But
Go
also
fuck,
we'll
yeah.
listen. You know,
I will kind of listen. I'm not gonna lie to you. If you defend this, I'm immediately gonna have an opinion about
questions
you.
about you.
Yeah, I'm gonna. That's like ordering a burger at a Chinese restaurant. I immediately have questions. That I'm like, I can't. No matter what you're gonna say, I'm really not gonna get in behind you.
I agree. I agree.
But what movie?
So I'm thinking about, and I know it's the summer right now.
Yes, it's the summer.
But by the time we cycle through the other stuff with the former host,
I was thinking that.
And by the time we actually get this stuff out, I think we should get into our Halloween.
I think we should get into, but I thought of a movie.
Okay.
While this was that, I don't know, hear me out, because it kind of leads into, because I know we
make it
talked
work.
about going into Halloween movies from here on out for a little bit when the Halloween season starts. This is a good movie to go into those. The Omega Man and I Am Legend.
Love that.
Yeah?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay.
Love that.
I figure we watch this Charlton Heston movie. Let's go with the other one. The Charlton Heston classic, The Omega Man, into the Will Smith slap happy classic.
We're going to rehab that man's career. Uh-huh.
No, no.
Nah, probably not.
No.
No, I think that's a great idea. And honestly, I think that still will line us up with what we need to do. Or if we need to do it at all.
Yeah, but I mean, then we'll go into other movies like It or whatever and
Totally.
things like that.
Totally.
I'm fine with that.
I like that we're doubling down on Heston. And we're getting away from Christopherson.
Yeah.
I can't believe we're 0-2 on Christopherson.
Oh, man.
But I can believe it.
I can't believe it. Fucking Whistler. Although, you know what? I never realized that I disliked him until those.
I thought I liked him.
I thought I did. But now I'm questioning every belief. I'm like Dr. Zaius. I'm questioning every belief I ever had.
He gives you nothing in this remake.
What are you talking about?
Nothing, dude.
The only, also the remake, the female lead, far more gorgeous.
Oh yeah, we never talked about it.
Yeah, we don't have to. I don't even know her name, and I've never seen her in anything since. But
because it didn't matter. Oh, there's Estella Warren. As,
yeah, that's it.
As
Estella
Dana.
Warren. Yes.
Dana. I don't know. Nova was pretty hot. You know
Yeah, but I think that's what I'm saying. Like, she was beautiful, but that is. Like,
yeah.
Oh. Like, I'll throw it all away.
And the craziest thing is that humans could speak in this movie, and she didn't.
Barely. And I don't know if she could speak in real life.
Who cares?
Yeah. Anyway, but that's for Retro vs. Remake.
That was another episode. I like where we landed there.
Yeah.
I think we just fired from the hip, and it's an emotional thing when you watch Planet of the Apes.
Movie.
It's fucking weird.
Yeah.
But we're off to a mic.
Yeah, we're gonna go do some comedy. If you want to follow us, I'm Dan Farley18 on Instagram.
I'm Reggie Parker at RP Comedy on Instagram and Twitter. This has been another episode of Retro vs. Remake.
Keep it real, kids.
Ayo.
Have a good one.
Keep it sleazy. And
keep it sleazy.
Our next episode, the Omega Man.
And I Am Legend.
And I Am Legend. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.
Keep it sleazy.
I like that.
I like that ending too.
Cool.
Yeah.